To BBC Radio Guernsey with James Dundon this morning. Hello, it's now 10:24. Now, we love talking about fundraising challenges on this show, people going the extra mile, quite literally, for charity, and this guy's about to. No stranger to endurance events. Ben de Jersey Moore on Saturday will be rowing for 24 hours in aid of MS Guernsey, a target of 171 miles. So we'll talk to Ben about his fundraising. Also, we've got Linda Vermont from the MS Society Guernsey charity in the studio as well. Morning, Ben and Linda.
Good morning.
Great to see you both. So, first of all, Linda, just remind us about the condition MS and how it affects people.
Well, MS is a chronic neurological disease that affects the central nervous system. That means the brain and all the nerves throughout the body. And what actually happens is something attacks the covering of the nerves, like the insulating material, and eats it away. So the nerves no longer send messages in the right way. They send garbled messages, or they don't send messages at all. And this can affect absolutely any nerve in the body. So the problem with MS very often is it presents in a variety of ways that are fairly non-specific. I mean, fatigue, tiredness, overwhelming tiredness is one of the early symptoms very often. And this is why it takes quite a long time to diagnose. Most commonly, MS has what we call attacks or relapses, where somebody gets a symptom like fatigue, like blurring of vision, like weakness or tingling in an arm and leg, perhaps some waterworks problems. And then it all gets better. And there's a period when nothing's happening, and then perhaps another attack comes along, affecting a different part of the body. And these relapses tend to recur and then get better, but over a period of time, many years, usually there is some residual damage, and this is when we begin to see the accumulation of disability.
It is an absolutely horrible condition. I've got a friend that suffered from it, and you'd absolutely forget, because he'd go through a wonderful period where he'd just be living a normal life, and then he'd just be crippled by it. And this is the thing, it must be very difficult to manage MS, because you just don't know what you're going to get from day to day.
That's true, but there are some very good drugs these days that can reduce the number of relapses and reduce their severity. But it's very important for the individual with MS to almost take charge of their own condition and begin to understand it. Very important to pace yourself so you don't get overtired. Important not to smoke, important not to be very overweight. Some people find following a fat-free diet helpful. Reduction of stress. There are a whole lot of lifestyle issues that are very important. And the one I would like to highlight today is the importance of exercise. And this is why Ben is so topical in some ways, although his exercise is a bit extreme. Because if you continue to exercise with MS, you keep your muscles strong, you keep your joints supple, you stop joint contractures, you maintain your strength, you maintain your balance. And these are all very important things for somebody with MS. So exercise is very key. And this is why the MS Society do actually fund some exercise outlets on the island for people with MS.
And as you say, Ben is certainly going to get some exercise this Saturday. Ben, you're going to be attempting to row for 24 hours, a target of 171 miles. First of all, why?
Well, I wanted to support MS Guernsey because a friend of mine, her husband, has recently been diagnosed with MS, and they've got 2 young children. I'm going to be a new dad myself for the first time, and I can only really imagine how hard that's going to be for them. So that's my motivation for taking on the challenge for MS Guernsey.
Good for you. Have you ever been affected by the condition yourself, or is it purely just through your friend that you decided to do something with this charity?
No, just purely through my friend, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And why the 24-hour rowing with 171 miles? Is that based on some sort of other endurance event that you've witnessed, or that's something you've always wanted to do?
Well, there are relatively few people which have done the 24-hour row. I mean, there's a quote from the current world champion, who claims that more people have landed on the moon than have rode for 24 hours. I wasn't able to fact check that. I'm slightly suspicious. It might be a Trump statement in a way, because it's sort of true,
news,
but
Ben.
it depends where you put the boundaries. What counts as 24 hours? Is it it depends, but it's broadly speaking true that very, very few people have done it. Certainly fewer people than have swum the Channel or climbed Everest. It's extremely tough. I mean, rowing requires sort of 81% of the muscles in your body to fire during the stroke. So it has this remarkable ability to kind of deplete and exhaust you. It's very good exercise for that reason, but obviously when you take it long, it becomes progressively harder. I mean, for example, with my 2 kilometre row, I can do that in 6 minutes and 42 seconds. And, if you plug that into some of these endurance calculators, that would give me a ridiculous figure at the end of it. But it's very difficult to find where sort of physical endurance fades off and where mental endurance becomes more of a factor. Yeah. And I certainly sort of think when you start to push things beyond 12 hours, it becomes less about how strong you are. You do obviously need to be very fit and very strong, but it becomes much more of a sort of battle of your will, because your mind keeps trying to cut corners and allow you to take like a little bit of a longer rest, or or just slightly drop off the pace. It's very, very easy to gradually sort of fade away, and you have to kind of constantly get into a sort of mental fight to kind of keep going and keep the pace that you've set for yourself.
I bet. So how are you going to work this, Ben? Where are you going to be doing it, and who's going to be with you? I'm guessing you're going to need a support team sort of egging you on and giving you that motivation even through the night.
Absolutely. I've got a volunteer with me through every hour of the 24-hour challenge. It's going to be held outside the town market, looking onto Town Church. It's basically by the doors where HMV used to be. And yeah, I'll be under a gazebo there. You'll see the MS flag flying there. And I'll be, ticking away on that. I've got basically there's a computer on my rowing machine which counts all the miles and stuff, but we're backing that up with a paper tally every time I take a rest. I'm planning on rowing for 18 minutes and then resting for 2, but at certain times I might need to take a slightly longer rest, for comfort breaks, or maybe to eat something a bit more substantial.
Yeah, I was going to say, keeping those energy levels up, 2-minute break isn't a lot to do all the ablutions and eating and everything else, is it? And because you're in a prime spot there outside where HMV used to be in the Old Town Market. Do you think some Saturday night revellers might be sort of encouraging you and cheering you on? I can imagine it might go through phases where the early part of the night you might get a few spectators, shall we say, enjoying it, and then it's probably going to be dead quiet after sort of 4 o'clock in the morning. I just can't even imagine what it will be like for you.
Well, yes, I must put a shout out to the minister who conducted my wedding, Mark Street, who's actually going to be joining me for 4 hours through the night from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m.
Right.
And indeed more generally to all my supporters, because without volunteers it's really impossible to put these events on. And obviously there's a safety consideration there, and it just makes it so much easier when you've got people which can kind of find the food item you want and chat, buoy you up, and kind of record the mileage, make sure the machine's running correctly, that sort of thing. And really and truly, the volunteers make these events.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, keep you going. Linda, what do you think of Mark? I mean, incredible. Ben. It's incredible what Ben's going to, I don't know where Mark came from. It's incredible what Ben's going to achieve, isn't it? And all for the charity.
Absolutely amazing, and I'm pretty confident that he will do it, because he did a 100-kilometre row for us last year and completed that in 8 hours 21 or something like that, Ben, I think it was.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, but I think, can I just jump back for a moment? people may not be aware of the metabolic effects of a row like this. Ben will burn something like 16,500 calories during this 24-hour challenge. Now, that's roughly 6 days' worth of normal calorie intake. That's a heck of a metabolic load on the body, so he has to be very careful about how he prepares, how he actually takes his nutrition. He mustn't take too much at any one time. He has to have it carefully balanced for all the salts and everything in his body. There's an awful lot of physical preparation that goes on, as well as physical by I mean planning, as well as the training, as well as the mental preparation. It's an amazing challenge, a fantastic undertaking, and we're very, very grateful to him. And we just hope that people will rally round and support him, either by coming to say hello or by donating on our giving.gg page, where he has 24-hour solo marathon row for MS. Hello.
Sorry, I had some problems. Hello, I had some problems with the line. Then it is amazing just to think about the amount of calories that he's going to burn, and the more stats that we throw into this, it just shows why hardly anyone in the world has ever attempted such a thing. So Ben, before you did this 100 kilometre, so that's just over 60 miles, and now you're going to do 171 miles of rowing on Saturday night. What other endurance events have you done?
Well, I've done a 100-mile ultramarathon. That was actually, I did 101 miles of a 215-mile ultramarathon. I wasn't successful on that one, but it's the first time I ran 100 miles. That was up in Scotland, and had a lot of elevation change and running through bogs. I've done other ultramarathons where I've been successful, but shorter distance ones. And I also did an 85-mile run in a fasted condition, so I did that without any food, just salt and water.
Gosh, blimey. Why, Ben? Why do you put yourself through these things? Are you just trying to find out how far you can push yourself? Do you find this sort of thing fascinating, endurance events?
Yes, well, I think you get a lot of crossover from doing endurance events in these ways, because you get to keep the mental toughness, and it allows you to actually understand much more about yourself. It becomes quite meditative, especially things like long-distance swimming, rowing, running. The repetitive actions over a long, long period allow you to kind of almost go into yourself and find out more about who you are. And certainly when you're doing it, a running ultramarathon, for example, you get to meet some incredibly interesting and courageous people, and you really do get to know them over the course of, say, running 50 miles with someone. You really do see them when all the pretense has kind of come away from them. You get to see real people. It's really quite an amazing experience.
I can imagine. Just incredible what you're going to achieve on Saturday, Ben, and we wish you all the luck in the world. How much money have you managed to raise so far, or are you hoping that the donations are going to come flying in as you do the event?
Well, we're aiming to raise 7,500, which would pay for the exercise classes at Beausejour for MS Guernsey. And so far we've raised £61, where it went live a few days ago, and we're hoping to get more and more donations in over the next few days. And if you go to giving.gg, you can find it under 24-hour solo row for MS Guernsey.
All right, great. Just to recap, this is Ben. He's going to be doing an all-nighter. He's rowing for 24 hours for MS Guernsey, a target of 171 miles. He's going to be burning around sort of just over 16,000 calories in this fundraising attempt, which I can't even compute how the human body would physically do this, Ben, but I have every confidence in the other events that you've done through your life that you are the man for this job, and I really hope you raise a ton of money for MS Guernsey. So do check it out on justgiving.gg. And if you're in the area as well, don't forget you can go and support him day or night. He'd be pleased to see you outside of the town market where HMV used to be. You'll see the gazebo and the rowing machine and all the tech set up, and you'll be able to follow Ben's progress as well. We'll keep you updated through the day here on BBC Radio Guernsey. Thank you both for coming in. Ben, I wish you all the luck in the world. And also, Linda, keep in touch about the charity. I'm sure it's been a bit of a tough year for people wanting support support and not much fundraising activity happening. So you must be delighted that we're coming out the other side of this now, and there's a bit more going on, you know.
Absolutely, but I think we're a bit like the BBC. We're ruled by our UK superiors who tell us we can't hold most of our fundraising face-to-face things, so we're delighted that we're allowed to hold this one.
It's just bizarre that because we did just a bit of background. The BBC at the minute have this social distancing thing still in place in the building at BBC Guernsey, which is, you know, that's fine, rules are rules and everything else. But it is bizarre. It's like another world walking into this building, isn't it? But there you go. Look,
I'm thoroughly enjoying it this morning because I'm sitting in JKT's seat.
Well, there you go. You've got the big chair, Linda.
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining. The tables have turned. Linda's there in charge. She's the aeroplane pilot there. Linda in the big chair, and Ben as well. All the luck in the world as you do your row for 24 hours in aid of MS Guernsey, a target, the 171 miles. Incredible, and burning all the calories and doing that for MS Guernsey. Find out more on justgiving.gg. Search for